Hi, everybody. Nick Blasier here again with more commentary on some Sander Lylloff matches back from the World Championship in July this year, 2022. As you probably know or have seen, he went on to become world champion in this tournament, and it was a really exciting run. We got to stream a lot of those matches, but there were some interesting ones that Mate recorded along the way as well that the rest of y'all probably didn't get to see. Maybe you watched them on his channel already. But we thought it'd be a cool opportunity to take some of these videos and add some commentary to them, make them a little more interesting to watch. I would love to see kind of how Sander played along the way and just learn more about his game too before we get to see him in the UBC finals this year too. Which, as of recording this, hasn't happened yet. But who knows? Maybe you'll watch this in a year and that'll be out as well. He's currently the UBC contender champion too, going on to face Mochi later this year. So really exciting run for him in 2022. Excited to see how he closes that out. But in the meantime, while we wait for that to happen, we can watch some more of his matches like this. Yeah, so like the videos, subscribe to Mate's channel if you like stuff like this. We'll probably put more videos like this out. Go over and find me on YouTube as well. I have all my links on the Weebly page that I have posted here. And yeah, really quickly before we start too, my book's out on Amazon if you're interested in it. It's about match play. Super excited about the system that I put together there. You can read more on Amazon. And also, I'm trying to go do live commentary again in Cyprus this year in early November. And the tournament staff is able to get me a room and give me a little bit for the commentary, but they can't cover my flight this year, which I don't know. I just don't have extra money to spend on traveling out of the country. But I would really like to go, so I thought I'd give it a shot to reach out to people watching these videos and see if anyone would like to contribute a little bit, and if I can collect like $1,500 for the flights, like I'll go do it for sure. I would love to go be there and hang out and put more commentary out there. So if you want to watch me talk about matches, you can help me out that way. No amount's too small, if it's just, I don't know. I think if enough people watching these videos just throw me like 10 or 20 bucks, it could get there pretty easily. So yeah, any help you have would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's let's watch some Sander playing. I don't know, George's. Oh, I'm terrible at this. George's Grünbaum. Someone please correct me on that name. But okay, here goes the match. Let's get the XG feed on there. We'll click that play button and catch up here too. And we'll have the player audio on here too, which is a lot of fun. So I'll kind of pause when they're talking. Hopefully you can hear that. I don't know how loud I have it here. Loud enough to be able to hear it, I think. Hopefully I've got the audio right on this one. That took a little bit of figuring out. 6-4, yeah, interesting one. When we're primed, we don't love to make the 2-point, but Sander finds that pretty naturally instead of running or something like this. That's actually a tricky play to me. 4-1, doesn't look like we have a lot else. And 5-2. It still feels like we just need, with a lead in the race, like we need to get running. I'm not sure. I guess we could anchor and play down, and we'd have like an advantage over our opponent that way. In that we'd have 10 in the zone and a better board, and Georges would have a really hard time splitting. So okay, this play can make some sense. Tough to split into that structure, and we don't risk losing our race when we run. 5-2. Okay, how is he going to deal with this? So he thinks he needs to split anyway. He does have the prime. He's out of time on the front. Does seem compelling. The board's not so scary now. It can only get worse. Man, we really don't want to split, though. Our only other options are basically to play checkers behind or slot, though. So I think I'm going with the... I think the split seems like the only option. Look at this. Actually, slotting to the 4 is a very close option, too, for all those reasons. Getting into cool break-even cases here already. 6-5. Okay, Sander instantly sees that he doesn't have a 6 he likes, so he's going to take the opportunity to run off the anchor and potentially park in front of that midpoint that Georges doesn't want to give up. And then what's his best 5? It could come around the bend to just get home to safety. Maybe he could turn this into an attack as well. I assume he's considering most hitting one of those checkers on the 3 or the ace. But the indirects and coming around to safety seems strongest to me. And look at this, a super close decision to just think about 8-3 along with it. Quite a few more gammons. It fits the game plan with having the better board. He's going to go for that more aggressive play. Okay. 4-2 is a nice shot for white. Sending a checker back. And both playing perfect so far. Good stuff. Yeah, in and link up for sort of like an anchor. I always treat those 14, 15, 16 kind of like almost like a bar point anchor. Maybe not the 14, but they can be difficult to play. Similar enough to an anchor, but a little bit different. It just feels different when you're running off with different rolls. Pattern recognition gets thrown off. If white was ahead quite a bit in the race, running would make a lot of sense. But it also seems nice to unstack and make a board point and threaten that back blot a little bit. I don't feel under so much pressure leaving that checker behind, but he goes with running. Okay, okay. Seems reasonable. Yeah, very close plays. 5-1 for Sander. And he's going to go for the hit, and then the step up. Being down in the race, I think attacking makes a lot of sense. And he should actually lift with it. That feels like a very difficult play to find a lot of times, but some players are starting to see those with all the XG feedback. 4-2, what other 2 do we have? Sure, just play behind, preserve the racing lead. Yeah, this is going to hit and cover, I do believe. Once again, down in the race, we got to go for something with the better board. And entering pretty strong. I think the 3 is just going to throw another checker behind. We can't hit. We don't want to put a blot in front. We could play to the ace instead. Maybe playing with one less blot is actually worth it here. I don't mind that, actually, the more I look at it. I'm not sure why we need to keep 2 blots on pure points instead, if that even helps us. So 7-4 to cover and volunteer the deuce. Okay, that's really neat. And it is a lot better to play 6-3 than 4-1. Interesting. Yeah, that purity long term just bites it. This is a very understandable play to me. Surprised that's such a big mistake. Sander going to think about the cube there a little bit early. 4-4 seems like a strong one. He's going to regret it here. So he's going to hit first and then decide which point he wants to make along with it. He can consolidate blots quite well when he covers the 4 and comes out, so that play makes a lot of sense to me. One 4 is a great shot from the roof. And Sander wants to think about the cube again with the ace shot and 3s. Yeah, I guess this actually makes some sense. He can lose his market pretty easily. Only 9 in the zone, though. It feels kind of nice to cash when we do something well. And Georges is in like pretty good shape when we miss. I don't know. Yeah, very close. A large swing on this roll. So far, I feel like the checker plays we've seen Sander make in this particular game have been on the aggressive side. We'll see if he follows suit with the cube action too. No, he decides to wait. Enters with a 4, going to go for the hit with the 3 even without the cover. I think that makes a lot of sense. And he should be able to claim the game quite a bit when missed. No such luck. I think he could. It would be interesting to check. 5 in. What's our best 4? I guess just running. Why do we want to create another blot? Against this, we do have to respect this 4-point board. Try to play a little bit safe. Is he going to consider hitting twice? That feels like getting another blot involved, and I don't know. I guess when we get hit, our 5s are going to anchor, so that's kind of a nice feature of it. But yeah, my instinct would be just go and not play with another blot. Pretty close plays, though. As always, impressed by these really top-level players, and and how they just spot these like really great other options, you know, that are easy for a lot of us to overlook. 3-6. Oh, no dice on checker. 4-4. Duplicated 4s, so that's probably not going to work out for him. Oh, what can he do? Does he have to... Yeah, he notices that that's one of them. He can either come down for the cover or play to the ace. Yeah, I guess we want to stay pure. 1-2. Okay, this is going to enter and play safe. And with all these checkers back, I think George's is still in okay shape. I don't really see the market loss. Maybe covering and not escaping is enough to have a lot of pressure, but with only the 10 in the zone, there's not really an attacking threat on that blot, so I feel like George's has time to roll a 6. And like he should be able to take comfortably next roll as well, I would expect. Yeah. So XG thinks it's a little bit early for that reason. I just don't see a lot of market loss here on this one. And a 6-3. What is this going to do? Just comes around and... Okay, sure. I'm not sure. Guess being further back allows for less running rolls that would... Yeah, just less rolls that run successfully. 6-1. 6 is gonna... He instantly decides to try to escape here. I think that seems reasonable. Don't see any duplication ideas. Might be a little bit of shot counting, but I'm inclined almost to just continue and get a little closer to safety. This feels like tactics though, and just counting through shots and what works the best. This is a blunder. Okay, yeah. Wow, it's really important for him to just continue. There must be some sort of tactical reason for this one. Some sequence or some roll for the opponent that makes a big swing on this. Not sure I see it. Maybe it just leaves more shots when we park on the 18 as well. That's strange for sure. Yeah, I can't find it immediately, what the big difference would be. But so we have Sander considering the cube now again. There is going to be market loss on a hit and fan. It's getting more reasonable, I think. I think he can definitely win the game on this sequence. But when he misses, he's still got a good game. It's not like he's going to be fearing the cube anytime soon in an even race with the anchors and everything like that. So maybe he does need to take... I mean, doubling on the upside of when things go his way on this sequence seems pretty reasonable. And he's going to go ahead and send it. Yeah, a nice volatility cube that he finds here. And I'm still really curious about that 6-1 before. It's really surprising to see it be such a large mistake. Play that ace another way. It does burn timing. I don't know. Interesting one. And I think Georges should see that when he's missed, he has a really good game. He might even be winning, you know. And even when he's hit, it's not all over. Still takes time to close it out. So I expect to... actually surprised to see him spending so much clock time on this. He might just need to count the race and make sure if he was down by quite a bit, maybe this would be a little bit of a desperate take. But yeah, just double checking everything, finds the take. And we're continuing from there. 6-2. He misses. And what is Sanders instantly looking for? Why does he want to give this up? It feels like it controls a little bit less of the board. Pressures the blot in a different way. I'd be inclined to just kind of play in. This is interesting. This has better blot and kind of sees more of the board, I guess. And against a 1-point board, we can afford at least for one sequence to go for something like this. Okay. Nice find, Sander. 4-4. Forces that blot on the 18 to do something where the plays I was considering could allow it to park there if it doesn't get the safety. And so Georges is just going to run around and try to play a race. Nice roll for that. 4-1. Sander under no pressure to safety. I think he still wants to stay in the outfield here. Keep that presence. So I think just 10-5 seems fine. And George is only ahead 3 pips and still work to do to come home. Doesn't have anything to think about with the cube yet. This is going to do quite a bit though. I think we do want to come down even though it makes 6 away contact with the 21 point. And then maybe 1 behind to keep more ways to make the 5 point. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. What else could we do? We could come down with 1 and play 8-5 to fill in that gap. That's an interesting idea too. But yeah, okay. 5-3 is going to play in and come down, and now, yeah, George is going to have to think about the cube a little bit every roll from here. Not quite enough with 7 pips in that open gap still. So we close the gap now and have him prime in front of this structure. Still looks takeable for Sander, almost regardless what he rolls. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be enough of a racing lead to send the cube back yet. But that 21 point is a little different than the 21 point or 20 point. It's harder for Georges to roll a set and escape and get in there. Or for Sander to roll that. Georges can keep his structure in front of that anchor for a little bit long and kind of reduce the volatility of his opponent potentially turning the race around. But Sander still looks happy to just run with any 5-2 here with all the blots behind. So I don't imagine that we're ready to. And look at this, it is quite close with that structure in front of the anchor. That's how much different the 21 point is than the 20. If we have the 20 point, I think this would be like kind of miles away from a cube. But yeah, it makes a big difference that there's a little bit of priming value in front of that 21 point. And so very wise to be considering this. You might get tripped up too because like by the numbers it looks like this would be an initial double. But cube ownership is enough to make it a very small decision to hang on to it for now. And those can be hard adjustments to make. Yeah, he does get the cube in. I expect Sander to find a pretty easy take with such a close race. We'll see. Oh, interesting in thinking about it now, too. It always surprises me when, I mean, your opponent just spent like at least a minute of clock time or something like that thinking about their cube. Seems like a good time to figure out what you would do on your side if you got it, you know? I could imagine the thinking being like not wanting to give your opponent the information that it's a decision or something like this. Oh, and he clears from the rear, even though the race is really close, when he needs to keep that prime. There's big risk of your opponent rolling 6s there, and you want to prevent that for 1 roll. So you probably should have just shuffled from the 6 and the 7. But okay. Yeah, 7-5, 6-3 to make the board. Okay, 4-2 is probably going to bring 2 checkers in. I don't see what better we can do. Yeah, I was thinking of the 7-5, 7-3 way for whatever reason, but this looks totally reasonable too. 6-3, okay. Yeah, Sander happy to run off his anchor with the better board still. Close in the race. And 2-1, with this close of a race, we want to think about doing things like hitting to just kind of solve the game. Maybe we do need to. I think the game is really close if we don't hit. And we can hit and kind of cover 2-1. I don't think we can afford to have our opponent have the cube in a 6-pip race, even though his board is better. When we get away with this, then we just win. And we don't risk so many gammons. It is some, but yeah. And they're not too far off. The wins are actually closer than I might have guessed here. And we only risk 6.3 gammons when we get hit and closed out and all these things. Then we lose like 20% or something like this. So not a crazy number. But yeah, I'm surprised the wins are only 1.5% more that it's that close. I thought the race was a little worse when we don't hit. And I mean, often, okay, he's going to go for the 7 to 5, 6 to 5. Okay. And so Sanders sitting on a very threatening cube, and he's just going to keep playing the pips efficiently instead of covering. Yeah, I might have used 4 to 1 there. Actually, kind of surprised by that. 4-3. Yeah, they were really close. This one, I think we should just cover 2 points. What? Why not cover 2 points? Interesting. I don't know. Sixes. That's forced, and Sander with a huge racing lead now. Cube likely coming, and potentially a 4-point win in this first one. Unless we get a take in, it's 8 points, something like this. 12 pips I think is too much though. So I think this is just likely a double pass. I don't see enough wastage in this position. Wow, an 8 cube in the first game. It's exciting. There it comes. And a pass. Good start for Sander. All right, trailing 4 points in the match. In this long of a match isn't going to be enough to make much adjustments. Might see like some borderline decisions swing based on that score, or if we get into recubes, then that can change quite a bit. But the initial cube should act pretty similar when they both have 13 or more points to get home. Threes, nice, gonna unstack and make the board. And 6-3. What is the best we can do is run with this with a losing race? Interesting. He just instantly finds that too. I guess I was looking for what other play I could make, but okay. And George is gonna miss a cube here. Yeah, he kind of has the race, he has a threat, he has a better board, he has a bit, you know, kind of has all the features. Hits, this could be an easy market loser. 3-5 is a fan, yeah, and I think we've lost it, and this is likely easy money pass. It's actually slightly too good at the score. That's surprising. Yeah, I guess what sequence can happen where he gets back in the game? Why not take one there? Interesting. And misses a very borderline cube the roll before, where probably not even a money double. But yeah, Sander passes. We'll continue. And we've got a 3-6 next game. 4-4. This is still just going to do a little bit of both. Up and down, your standard 4 is play. 4-1 can make a point, so I don't see anything better to do than the 9. Yeah, looks nice. And George is in control of this game too. Looking strong to start. 5-2, not a great shot. We really don't want to stack up the 6 this early, but we have a racing lead, so maybe that is our best game plan. Play B is hitting on the ace or making the 4. We want to volunteer too. I just don't see any. Oh, we can hit twice. Yeah, okay. That's kind of an interesting idea. Sure, I like that. I didn't even look at that play. For whatever reason, I wasn't thinking of using the 2 to hit at all. 5-4. That looks like it's going to enter and hit loose. What else do we have? I guess we could cover the 9, but it leaves a double shot. It doesn't seem valuable enough. I'd rather take away half my opponent's roll. Yeah. 2-6, okay. Awkward 6s from the bar typically. I think coming out from the back with a little racing lead and less checkers back seems like the best. It does create some hidden covers, but I guess worth it here. Interesting again. We can, I guess we're going to hit with the deuce. Then do we want to make the 7, finally have a piece of structure, or do we want to put the second up? Taking him off the 2 point seems worth a little bit less. I'm not sure. Interesting, yeah, super close decision on that one. 4 in. And still without a board point and 3 checkers back. Georges has more work to do before this turns into cube territory. I think covering 2 points looks pretty nice. And kind of playing 2 game plans at once. Looks like a little bit of priming and a little bit of attacking, but what else can you do? The 2 behind, sure. Don't want to volunteer in front of that spare on the anchor that our opponent wants to get moving. 5-2 is going to get one of those spares moving. Small racing lead for Georges, so if he can just escape, he's looking good. Sander needs to stay back for the contact. 2 to cover seems nice. What's our best 5? Start the next point or play down? Yeah, starting the 3 isn't so exciting, so this seems reasonable. Keep the checkers in front of the anchor. 4-3. That, I think it's time to just kind of play normal here. If we could make board points and things like that, we'd think about it, but I mean, 13-6 preserves our racing lead, so I like that. This is 6 what? 6-6. Okay. Well, that's going to change everything, and he's just going to go. What breaks contact the most efficiently? Stacking up the 9 or making the 7? This seems reasonable. Gets out of the way of the 13 point. 3-1 is going to make a board point and prepare for contact. Only 13 pips in the race. This is not a crystal clear double to me, but Sander whips it instantly. And I think the take should be pretty easy to find here. Still work to do to clear the midpoint. Good board, all these things. And yeah, so we're a little bit early on this. I don't really think this is a score thing, but that we adjust to an O double. It just seems like, yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what made him feel so confident in that cue. Seems like not enough racing lead. 6-4. We're going to start points. And the race is pretty close, though, so you might end up needing to look for an opportunity to escape. 4 is never mind. Race looking really good for Sander again. Yeah, 2 down breaks contact from the mid, and then 8-4, 6-2 are the only really safe play we have. I mean, it looks super awkward, but that's what we got, and we won't complain. Clearing the midpoint is so nice. 3-1 is going to cover and probably play 1 down from the midpoint, get closer to home. And awkward 4s is what Georges is looking for. 5-3, no such luck. 2 checkers in. 6-1 looks like it's going to bring a checker in from the 13. Sure. There's still a race to be played here, so he's got to be somewhat efficient with his pips in case he rolls a big set. 3-1 is going to, yeah, take another checker in and then unstack 4-3. Seems fine. Just looking for simple, safe plays that clear points in order. 6-1, sure. Distribution on the 5 looks nice. Keep our bar point in case we get a shot in the very near future. But that's next to go. 5-2 is going to clear from the rear. Sander ahead enough in the race that he doesn't want to keep blocking points. Double 4s wouldn't lose the game for him or anything like that. 6-2, this is an awkward way to have to break the mid, or the 7. I think we can't run off our anchor, though, so I'm probably playing 7-1, 5-3 with it. Why not? Something like this, 6-4 for distribution, sure. And look at that, 20-12 and just running is actually super close. Yeah, with the blots behind, I was thinking about it, but I thought long-term the liability of not having the anchor could be a little too tough to deal with. 6-2 seems safe this roll, but okay, we're clearing the 8. Right? What else is there to think about really here? I guess 7 is fine. Okay, interesting. 4-2. That's gonna, I think, 7-3 and 6-4. Sure, board's ready. We'll be leaving the anchor very soon as Sander gets a chance to break it. Double 5s. Okay, that's gonna make it easy for him. And Georges is likely gonna be playing with 1 checker back, waiting for a little action there. 5-1 doesn't need to run quite yet. I mean, he can. I guess why not? What's the downside, really? I don't see it. He had room in his board, but would have had to play 4-3, so sure. I guess this must be a little bit better. 5 is going to cover, and then does Sander want to start to clear and avoid the double jeopardy or take a checker off? I'd be inclined to just peel here. Not sure why not, you know. I think having more checkers off before you potentially leave a shot is often worth quite a bit. 4-1. I think we're just playing from the 14, keeping it simple and waiting for our 6-5. 3-3 is going to clear and take a checker off. Okay, contact's all gone. And Georges is way out of this one. Going to need a few sets. Sixes, okay, there's the first one. Just a couple more of those and we'll be in an even game. 4-2. 4-3. Still a little bit of hope. Oh, there it goes. All right. That looks like 2 more points for Sander. Very clean game for those two. 11 away, 16 away. Maybe I'd think about, again, still not in a long match like this, not thinking about the score too much quite yet. I'll think about it on a recube. The initial cube is going to come about the same. Maybe I'll use it to decide a really borderline decision, but yeah. All right, 5-6 is going to run. Standard opening. 6-3 is going to split for contact and to try to... The checker on the 10 helps contain that blot that Sander's trying to escape. 6-5. Do we run or do we hit twice? With the racing lead and escaped, I think we just run. That'd be my instinct too. It's hard to put a 7th checker on a point. But yeah, that's the play. More gammons both ways when we hit. Tough to bring this home safely, but you got to take a try. Yeah, making a board point. I think the anchor is tempting too, but you just kind of release contact and give Sander somewhere to play when you're down in the race and he's escaped. So I like focusing on the board instead. They're pretty close though. 6-2, sure. Let's unstack. Hit 2. Hit 1. Hit as well. 2-1, yeah, staying split to try to make an anchor and see more of the outfield and start a board point. Why not? Down significantly in the race now, so it needs contact for sure. How can Sander clean this up in this roll? Maybe the 7 and 3 to the 9, or we could point on the deuce. The priming structure just looks pretty nice with the race, though. Why not? Why not just play quiet like that and get one step closer to clearing everything? Okay. And it's going to be tough for Georges to stay in this game, I think. A lot of pressure and prime coming. So he's going to stay back for the contact and make the board. And now Sander making any board points is going to be pretty devastating. Is this enough to cash it already? He's going to send the cube, see what Georges wants to do with this. He snaps takes, and look at this. Yeah, it's like a borderline decision, but he just instantly takes it. Maybe, again, he's thinking about adjusting to the score, and there does seem to be a little bit of adjustment here. Looks like a fairly clear pass for money, but he can take on the hope of a recube. But yeah, this looks pretty bad. When you're down this much in the race and your best game plan is to anchor and just be in a generally losing game, but you might not get that, and once in a while you get gammoned, looks pretty tough. Yeah, going for some sort of attack, switching that makes a lot of sense, but he can make a 5 prime. Wow, this is a pretty tricky decision. I could even see myself tempted into something like this that doesn't leave any shots. Lots of candidate moves that he's going to have to go through here. So he is going to consider the 13 to 5. That makes a lot of sense for sure. Just makes a 5 prime, should develop very easily, clears the midpoint contact, all very nice things. So the dilemma is, do we want to just, take the solid play that wins a lot, Or is it time to switch to some sort of attacking game plan with 13 in the zone, even though we're outboarded? The strong board and the need for contact on George's side kind of argues against attacking. But there are quite a few more gammons here when we go for it that way. We've got work to do to bring this home anyway, so finally building some structure appears to be worth it here. And so after this play, it looks like only a 5-3 hits? That's interesting. It really doesn't leave that many shots either. That must be tactically part of it, is that it's not leaving a lot of fly shots after we hit that checker on the deuce. But no mistake available here. You can kind of go for either. No big mistake anyway. Yeah, I've seen Xander too. When he's not sure, he's pretty visual, and he's going to take some time to look at both plays, kind of imagine how it's going to follow up, see the strengths and weaknesses. So he's going to consider, what if I make the 5? What else can I do with that? And go for the deuce. We got that play right here. Not too far off either. I mean, they all have merit. Yeah, actually, I mean, the more I look at this, I didn't really think of that before, but I guess it's so nice to break the 8 after you make the deuce, because they're 6 away and they don't communicate well. They're not part of the same structure. But it is kind of surprising that just making the 5 point, making the better point, keeping a spare on the 8 in the, or sorry, yeah, the distribution maybe looks a little nicer after that play. That's tricky. I'm really not sure why I guess it's just, it could just be tactics again. The 8-4 and 6-2 only leaves the 5-3, where making the 5 point is going to leave a 4-5 and a 3-6, so it's a few more shots. Could just be numbers. I really don't know. And finally, he's going to decide on the solid winning play. Okay, and not to go for gammons quite yet. Quite all right. A6. Okay. Yeah, George's is ready to have an anchor against 15 in the zone. Understandable. Got plenty of timing to play a 23-point game too. And yeah, sure, the 6 down for structure. Why not? Both players playing this pretty well. Yeah, for sure we want to make the 3-point and probably the 4-point as well. I think that's more important. We want to clear the 7 to bear off sooner than later anyway. The 4 is a long-term liability to have a gap there. Going to create unwanted contact until we can fill that in, so just take the opportunity to switch 7-4 now. Yeah, this looks like we're just going to keep shuffling checkers around and trying to create a board. No reason for anything too fancy here. I'm actually, even 8-5 doesn't seem necessary. I'm not sure if there's anything better. 4-2. This can bring 2 checkers in and get ready to clear, sure. Why not go for that? 3-3. What can this do? Kind of like 5 to deuce now. I guess 10-4 is not so bad either. And the last one I'm not so fond of. 10-7? Or we could play 4-1. Why do we want to do either of those? We might get a fly shot or something. Yeah, I guess 10-7 makes enough sense. 3-2. This can clear the 8 points. And we'll only be leaving indirects, so yeah. Yeah, it seems strong. Four one is going to bring a checker in, cover a point. Why not? Oh yeah, we can play 7-3 to cover instead. I like that play. And I don't think it's too bad to play 7-6, but I don't think we need to save the gammons either, so sure, just keep structure for a roll. 3-3 is going to clear with maximum safety. And then, sure, I think Michi taught us that we want to spare on the 3-point before we clear the 6, but I think we're so far from it that it makes more sense to just take something off. I like that play. Very close, as we can see. 4-1. I think this is just 2-in time. Like, we don't need the bar point. Very efficient crossover. A little bit of gammon risk here. 2-1. I think we're going for distribution somehow. Both off the 6? Yeah, okay. That makes sense. 4-1. I think we want to save a 6 and not be forced to run quite yet. So I'm happy to play 6-2, 4-3, something like this. Yeah, yeah. I think that seems good. 5-6. Oh, 7-2 we actually still want to play there. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how often XG doesn't worry about it. Just happy to run off the anchor if it goes that way, and not worth enough to like create any poor distribution or waste pips outside and crossovers, things like that. Yep, taking another checker off, keeping a nice smooth distribution. That looks very nice for Sander. 6-3 is going to be forced to run, and then we're just going to continue going all the way to make sure we don't lose a gammon. Covering the ace is just not like essential to winning this game yet, you know. If we do get the shot, we'll have opportunities to cover it later, potentially. 4-1's taking a checker off the 4 for sure, and then is it 6-5 or 5-4? I think we probably leave less shots after 6-5. I mean, at least the sets are going to work well, but it does create a bad 6-4 and things like this. 4-3? Yeah, 4-3 is just going to keep trying to get closer to home, I think. Less, oh, 5-3. Yeah, I don't think we want to save a 6 here in this situation either. I think we're getting in some gammon risk where crossover is nice. If we roll a 6 and we have to go, fine, but the shot should be kind of like now or never territory. 4-3, I think, just clears the 4, takes the checker off. No reason to leave a shot. And your opponent might go on this roll. 5-2, gets to hold structure for one more roll. Not sure that 4-2 is necessary, but maybe it saves a 5 to be able to stay back. Certainly is permanent, even when you get the shot now, that you have a checker deep that you don't want there. Forced to leave a shot, covers instead of leaving a double shot, of course, makes sense. 5-5 is going to be forced to go without hitting, but that's going to save a gammon, so not a terrible roll. 6-3, okay, cruising home to another 2 points. 2-5. 5-1. So likely to be 9 away, 16 away, okay. Big lead for Sander early in this match. 5-2, he's going to resign it, okay. Not sure that was technically done. Those are always hard to count. And a quick 5-minute break for the players, okay. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I think I'll make a small break in the video then right there too. It's nice to kind of chop them up anyway. And we'll come back in another part video with the conclusion of this match. Maybe 1 or 2 more parts, we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate how much everyone likes the commentary and things like that. Like I said, if you want me to do commentary live in Cyprus, consider sending me some money by Venmo or PayPal. I would really appreciate it. And I got my book out. I think that's going to help a lot of people out with their match play and adjustment. Hopefully we'll get into some more scores that are kind of where big things happen in this match. We'll see. But maybe not. With a big lead, maybe not. But we'll have something to talk about eventually. Cool. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back soon with the rest of this. Bye.